This week's Parsha Bamidbar starts off the fourth book of the Torah. This fourth book of the Torah is also known with the same name as this week's Parsha. As we've seen, the name of each Parsha is important as it summarizes the key points and reflects the overall theme of the Parsha. What is true for a Parsha is also true for a book of the Torah. The name of the book should also summarize the key events and reflect the theme of the entire book. Calling the fourth book of the Torah Bamidbar translates to in the wilderness. If you think about it, this is a pretty accurate description as Israel wanders in the wilderness for the last 38 of the 40 years in the desert, and many significant events happened there during this time. Interestingly, in English we call this book the Book of Numbers. This name also reflects the theme of this book, as there are numerous countings and census takings that occur throughout. One shouldn't think, however, that the English names for the 5 books of Moses were randomly made up. They weren't. They were actually a translation of the rabbinic names for each book. For example, the rabbinic name for our book of Bamidbar is Sefer HaPikudim. One can translate the word Pikudim as numbers or counting, such as taking a census. And that is the word used throughout the Torah for taking a census. However, that interpretation of the word is only telling part of the story, as the word means much more than just to count. The word Pikudim also has a militaristic connotation, to give commands or to establish authority. The census in the Torah was not taken for curiosity's sake. The census was taken to determine and identify the various aspects of the army, how many men could be put onto the battlefield, as well as the makeup and relative strength of each group. This fuller understanding of the word Pikudim would also explain the book that much better. In the wilderness, everything changed. Part of that change was preparing to enter into the land. That meant preparing for confrontation. It would be unwise to enter into any conflict without first recognizing one's resources, both quantity and quality. As such, they needed to take a census in order to take stock. But even that is only part of the story. During their time spent in the wilderness, Israel fully transformed into a nation, from a collection of diverse tribes into an organized and streamlined people. One of the best ways for the Torah to illustrate how much the nation had progressed was to show how the nation had encamped. Each tribe was paired or assigned with specific other tribes and then designated to camp on a certain side. God also had told Moshe, the children of Israel shall encamp, each man by his own camp, and each man with his own flag or standard. Each tribe proudly displaying their own flag or standard could have resulted in disaster. However, they were not competing against one another. Despite their differences, they were able to get along and be with each other. The Torah wanted to show that living in true peace is being able to relish the differences within and recognize that each person or tribe does not compete with, but complements the other. This realization helped Israel transform from being a fragmented collection of people into organizing and becoming a whole nation. That is a different level entirely, and this happened in the wilderness. Shabbat Shalom.